What does regulation look like in the UK? Well, there's two sides of regulation in the UK. Firstly, we're talking about that legal divide. And by the legal divide, I mean on one side you've got the statutory instruments or the statutory documents, and we would look at, for instance, the Electricity Work Regulations 1989, which is the law. But the law cites BS 7671 as a way of meeting the requirements of the law. So again, across that legal divide, we've got BS 7671, the IT wiring regulations. They're not a statutory instrument, but by following BS 7671, it's a way of meeting the requirements of the law. We're seeing such great change occurring at the moment. Now, my key phrase, my strapline at the moment is the days of the evergreen electrician have gone, because you think about times gone by, we had an electrical supply, switchgear, circuit, but a load on the end of that circuit. Now what we're seeing is in installations we've got different sources, PV on the roof, battery storage, we've got wind, we've got inverters, and on any installation there can be many sources. So it's important that whoever's working on the installation needs to know what's going on, because an untrained person comes in, works on a circuit, thinks it's isolated, but if there are other sources there, they might be caught off guard. So this is why we need to ensure that everybody's up to speed with what they're doing. Every time BS 7671 changes, there can be 4 years to the next iteration, and at times the standards for installation are well behind what's going on out there in the industry. It's really hard to keep on top of what's going on, but how do people do it? We need to push people towards CPD, the continuous professional development, and it's courses, isn't it? It could be one-day courses, it could be short week courses, but it's getting out there, looking at manufacturers. What do manufacturers offer? And they all do, they all offer training. So it's important to engage with manufacturers and also course and training providers to make sure that you're up to speed with what's happening. We're aware of the targets for net zero 2050, but in 2035 we are to hit that point where we're not selling any more internal combustion engine vehicles. We're looking to be purely EV vehicles that are being sold. How do we get there? There's an estimation between 300 and 600,000 EV charge points will be necessary at that point, and at the moment there isn't anywhere near that number. And how do we get there? Installers need to be on top of what they need to do. They need to be future ready, if you like. So for me, it's about the CPD at the moment. It's training, get ready for EV charging, because in order to hit 2030, there will be incentives. But what happens if it goes wrong? Ultimately, we won't get there. But I rather feel there'll be more and more incentives coming out of government, which will help installers, which will help designers get there. So it's necessary to train, to keep on top of what's coming, so that when it's time to act, you're ready to act.